I'm thinking about selling my business, Bill. What should I start doing now?
If you're thinking about selling your business, there's a few things you can do that are really basic, right? From a financial perspective, just making sure that you're doing the right things. Get an accountant in to understand how you're accounting for things. Is it appropriate? Making sure you're doing things in accordance with GAAP. Because ultimately, if you're going to sell your company, someone's going to come in and do due diligence. They're going to uncover everything. You got to make sure you're doing it right from the beginning. So that's the first thing. If you're thinking about the legal and compliance perspective, right, I want to make sure that the guy I promised for his ownership, that I actually have given him his ownership. Or the gal who's coming in as a consultant and I told her I was going to write her warrants for a few thousand shares, I want to make sure I have that written and have that all organized before I go out and think about selling my company. You want to have all those ducks in a row before you really bring someone in to say, come and take a look at my company, although I have all these other things I have to fix now before you buy the business.
What's your advice in terms of just preparing the balance sheet, revenues and expenses?
Yeah, so looking as favorable as you can for sale and preparing your financial statements, it's a great question. It's really working with your accountant to understand exactly what you should be doing. Depends on the industry. It depends on how, what you're trying to accomplish. It depends on how long ago you were founded. There's a lot of legacy issues in balance sheets that you'll need to figure out how you want to deal with. And really working with your accountant closely, you'll get a good perspective on the things you need to do. Maybe you need to adjust the way you're accounting for inventory. Maybe you need to adjust some depreciation. Again, working with your accountant can help you dress up the financials in the appropriate way.
What's your approach to this holistically?
The question you're asking is, am I telling a story as part of this, right? Am I telling my story? So whenever I'm dealing with clients, I always talk to them about, what's the equity story? What do you want to sell? And in some cases, it's the legacy, it's the history, it's the brand name that's associated with the company. In some cases, it's the technology that's within the company that's groundbreaking, that's brand new, and you're talking about the future, right? So you are telling a story, and you are telling, I like to say, an equity story, because you're selling the story. You're selling what you have, and you're selling the company. So yes, it's whenever I work with a company, I always like to talk about, where did you come from? What problem were you trying to solve originally? What strategic changes happened across, along the way? And how did you get to this point? And what do you think you're going to be doing going forward? What problems are going to solve going forward? So yeah, absolutely. You're telling a story as you're selling the company.
I'm not as efficient because I didn't invest in some of the systems that I should have done on the floor.
So thinking about making an investment as you're trying to sell a company or thinking about selling a company, it depends, right? So if you're thinking about making an investment that's going to make a difference in the company going forward, whether it's a technology, let's say it's an inventory system that's going to help you more accurately manage your inventory, that's an investment I would definitely make today, thinking about selling the company in 2 to 3 years. If I'm going to be selling a company in 9 months, no. I'm not making that investment today because there's execution risk associated with making that investment. And I could totally screw it up, and then I'm in due diligence and I've already got a system that's messed up. So knowing that if I'm making an investment and I can complete a project or an investment within a specific period of time, then show performance from that investment, then the investment is worthwhile. If you can't show performance from the investment, I would hold off on making it if you're really thinking about selling your company in the short term.
What about like loans, interest rates? Does that come into play for that?
Yeah, so if you're looking to make an investment and you don't have the capital to do it, and you're thinking about taking out a loan, it's not a bad thing, but just know that loan, the amount that is outstanding at the time that you're selling the business, is going to be netted against the value. So if you're selling the company for a total of $10 million and you have $1 million in debt, it's going to be a $9 million equity that goes to you after the transaction.